Anyway, it's like crazy that they like, what I'm saying, actually not like, you know, looking at these people or nothing like that. I know they was like they in the ICE like facility or whatever whatnot, but a lot of people was getting sick and like you know a lot of people was dying up in there, and I'm already knowing like dang they even betting again like betting against each other to see who go like do suicide or kick the bucket and like in an orderly fashion. So I'm like, oh my goodness, it's crazy. Anyway, just like these cops got called on these like individuals that was like actually like driving back home or whatever, whatnot from like a business trip or whatever, like and like because somebody called the police and said that like they stole dirt bikes and an ATV because they had a U-Haul. But the U-Haul had like, work material in it. So the cops was out of pocket for believing that stuff. For real though, it would have ended up being deadly or whatever. I mean, whatsoever. If they like, made a false move. Well, I'm just glad they didn't get hurt or nothing like that, and the cops saw that they didn't have none of that stuff that the person that called police, like out there telling them and told them wild tales or whatever. When I'm just glad stuff didn't happen, stuff didn't like go crazy as ever. For real though, because like yeah, no, that's crazy. Like I'm just glad everything worked out. Well, for real though. Anyway, so this cop like killed this dude for like some or whatever when I for real though. Anyway, so nothing at all. For real though, because like the cop wasn't even in uniform. But this cop like approached this dude because he had a gun or whatever whatnot. For real though. And the cop wasn't even in like he didn't even look like a cop. He just thought he was a like dude that was running up on him. So the cop just opened fire on him. Like, oh my goodness, it's crazy. It's crazy as ever. I'm like, dang. He ended up killing a man. Or whatever. I mean like because like dude was like, I think his like, vehicle was getting repoed or whatever, like repossessed or whatever whatnot. And like, the repo man got scared. So he called the cop over there and because I think he saw the gun or whatever whatnot. For real though. So yeah, he didn't even tell the man nothing. So he like, actually thought it was another dude that was just running up on him for nothing. So, oh my goodness, that was crazy. That was crazy as ever. You know what I'm saying? Real though, I'm like, dang. Like, shoot, they dude killed the dude on sight. Like, just shot him. Like, oh my goodness, it's crazy. It was crazy as ever. Real though. Anyway, now this like, veteran, this like, dude, like, obviously had his son was up there like messing with these kids. Was messing with these kids, like, saying up there like, doing whatever with them or whatever whatnot, like for real though. And like the police been called or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And dude like, was sniping the police. And he ended up getting that light too. So, you know? But shoot, yeah, they was gonna give him death until he took a plea though. For real, because like, yeah, I mean, they was gonna let that stuff fly. I mean, like, shoot, dude was like, what I'm saying? He shot like, 7 police, man. Like, what I'm saying? It was crazy. And he killed like, 2 of them. Like that was crazy as ever. For real though. For real, because like yeah, that was really something. I was like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, he had to try to play up in court and stuff like that. Like you know what I'm saying? He wasn't in the he even ended up smiling in that movie. For real though. I'm telling you, it's crazy as ever. For real though. Anyway, he already like planned it and all that. They said if they came to my house, I was going like he was gonna assassinate him or whatever. That's it, for real though. Anyway, so yeah, gang, that was crazy as ever. For real though. Anyway, so now I'm like, dang, that's messed up or whatever. For real though, because like, yeah, it was like really something else. Anyway, so yeah, like they like what I'm saying, like just yesterday, like was watching this other video. It's like dude was supposedly he actually like was supposedly like had a shotgun or whatever, and he like ended up having a shootout with the cops and shot one in the face or whatever whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And the dude who was the shooter then he's not living no more. He's deceased. For real though. Anyway, so yeah, that was some crazy stuff. And like people like other like these two kids end up like getting shot down, and it's like in this like town of Mississippi or whatever whatnot, and their body was found or whatever. I'm like, dang, and it's like people act like they don't know none. For real though, I'm like, no information, no none. For real, I'm like, that's some messed up stuff. For real, I'm like, a lot of people that like go to certain areas end up like coming up missing or whatever, and then next thing you know, their bodies be found and stuff like that. Like days, months, years. For real though. Now like that's some crazy stuff. For real though. And they act like they don't know what happened. They don't know what happened whatsoever. I know DNAs might be on some of them or whatever whatnot, but they just said like none that happened. Like they don't know none. Like they don't know how they died or nothing like that. For real though, that's the crazy. That's the craziest ever. For real though. Anyway, so I'm like, wow. That's some crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. For real though, I'm like, dang. I mean like shoot. It was like just crazy as ever. For real though. Anyway, so yeah, I'm like, I remember when I was like, playing like, Call of Duty bro on Black Ops 3, right? And we like played 3 matches. 3. For real though. And we was like, actually like, won that all probably these individuals or whatever when I for real though, just going at them, like, you know what I'm saying? I mean, like, we did, like, you know what I'm saying? I think we did, like, a depth team match or whatever, whatnot, team deathmatch. For real though, we wasn't playing. We was going at them. This me and Brody. For real though. But that's besides the point. Now, yeah, that's some crazy stuff. It's like, woman was like, actually talking a lot of stuff to this one woman. And like, she was up there like, saying that, like, she was a green card. I'm like, a green card? I'm saying, after the, like, conversation was almost over, this woman, like, spat on her face. I'm like, what the heck? For real though. And then ran up into the store and said this woman hit her and all that stuff. I'm like, and the police up there, like, took this woman's side. They actually spat on this woman. And, like, just escorted her home. I'm like, What? That's crazy as ever. But thank goodness none, like, worse than happened. Real though, because, yeah, I mean, high school, stuff do actually be happening in those situations too. But real though. But anyway, like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. So you got, like, oh my goodness. Like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hit the bell on notifications so you see my next upload and my next post on the main sure make a no one tomorrow. And oh yeah, you can check out my previous videos if you like it. So long, farewell, goodbye. I messed up, but it's still going on this video.